How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Vic and Carl here.
Hey, Baldy.
How's it going, man? Windy City Digits. Thanks for tuning in. As my screen goes blank in the background here.
I dig it.
So if you haven't had a chance yet, hit that subscribe button down below. If you like the video, hit the like. And then also hit the little bell down there so you get notified of our future episodes.
And join us on Twitter.
Yes. Vic is doing an excellent job of engaging us on the Twitter sphere. So if you haven't had a chance yet, it's down here below in the description here at Windy City Dig, which is short for digits. So follow us there, interact with us there. We'd also love to hear your comments down below. Thanks to everyone so far that's been tuning in and watching the videos. We really appreciate it. And again, it's just two guys just hanging out, two best buds just hanging out, talking about Chicago sports. This particular episode, we're going to talk about the Bulls. There seems to be a lot of trade rumors going on. Trade deadline is this Thursday coming up. Obviously, we had a couple needs. Vic, I texted with you earlier today that there was a trade rumor that the Bulls have made an offer for Dennis Schroeder to the Celtics. It didn't mention who we were giving up, but just the fact that we've made an offer for Schroeder. So what do you think about that? I mean, first of all, what do you think about the whole trade thing?
So I'll say what I said in the text, and then you could give me your wise idea.
Just don't mind me. I'm fixing the screen. Go ahead.
Yeah, I honestly think that the Bulls, by getting healthy, it'll be like having a transaction. Now, Carl, however, and so I wouldn't say get Dennis Schroeder. I mean, unless you're giving up someone like Matt Thomas, Troy Brown Jr. I don't know, some things in terms of for a salary dump, but I don't know what his salary's at. So, but your thoughts were?
My thoughts were that the only reason you make this trade or you try to get another point guard is because Lonzo's injury might be a little more serious than what we're being led to believe, and he might be out a little longer, maybe for the rest of the regular season. Who knows? It looks like we'll get AC back, obviously, but he's been on the bench, but Lonzo's been nowhere to be seen.
I thought I saw him on the bench today. I might have been wrong, but Williams, there was news from Donovan that Pat Williams might come back before the playoffs. So is that the big that we really need in terms of the rebounding edge and competing in a power forward position?
I don't know. Like, I think he'll help. But the question is really, do you put him back in the starting lineup? Do you, because Javante's playing so well in that starting lineup?
Not.
And you just have
no way, do you?
Williams come off the bench? I don't know. As someone who coaches basketball, I look at try to look at it from Donovan's perspective, right? It's a good problem to have because assuming you get everybody back healthy, right? You get AC, you get Lonzo, you get Derrick Jones Jr., and you get Pat Williams back. That's four really good guys you can put right back into your rotation, right? So the question is, who is that second unit? That second unit is going to be Ayo, right? Probably Ayo, probably AC, Derrick Jones Jr., Patrick Williams. I mean, that's a pretty good solid four coming off the bench. But even though it's a good solid four, you don't really have a scorer in that four. You're scoring still toward the front. Like Ayo is really asserting himself really as more of a point guard and distributor, but he doesn't look to score all the time. Neither does AC. Derrick Jones Jr. is just a garbage guy, right? He gets everything off of rebounds and off of hustle.
Yep.
So I don't know. Like,
this is a good analysis, Baldy.
You need a score off.
Good job.
You need thanks. Well, that's why people should tune into the channel because it's great.
Well, I think. Well, you know what? I think that's where we suffer. I mean, Tony Bradley coming in for Vooch. We need somebody else that scores. I wish we could get somebody like Sabonis, Miles Turner. I mean, of course, the Pacers got rid of LeVert, but we don't have any assets. We would have to give up some pretty good players, I think, in order to get someone like that.
Yeah, you know what? For those who may not have seen it, today, we record this on Sunday. They announced today that Karis LeVert got traded to the Cavaliers. for Ricky Rubio, who basically was injured, isn't playing it this year, and I think a protected draft pick. But that makes Cleveland's starting five pretty solid away. You know, like
they're just as tough. They're just as tough as the Pacers for us to play with their bigs.
Oh yeah,
and not Pacers. I meant Sixers. We have troubles against if we play the Sixers or if we play the Cavs with our lineup. I think we might struggle a little bit against those two teams.
I completely agree. At this point, I'd rather face Milwaukee in the playoffs.
Me too. Than Milwaukee or the Nets.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to face the Cavaliers or the Sixers. Hopefully those two play each other in the first round and then they knock each other out. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if there's really a trade to be made. Like, everyone thinks we need a big. We do need more size, but what do we give up? And at what price? Is it really for a rent a player? For basically for like
I agree.
4 months?
Yeah, but let's say there is. Let's say there is a guy out there. I mean, we don't want to give up much because we really don't know how our whole team like kind of coexists because they've all been gone at some point during the whole year.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want to give up Pat Williams. We've seen Kobe White where he was helping that second unit score.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did forget about Kobe in that second unit, though.
Oh, yeah. Well, Kobe
in your analysis.
Well, look, again, if you put Kobe in that second unit, you have Io, AC, and then Kobe. Then you have three guards. Then if you put Derrick Jones Jr. and Patrick Williams, it's the same problem. You're still small with that second unit. So, you know, that's why maybe like, is Kobe really expendable? Is Schroeder going to be happy with a role basically temporary? Like he's basically going to be a bench player or I don't think he's going to put him. You're not going to start him over Io at this point if you get him.
I don't know about that. Didn't Schroeder play for Billy Donovan in OKC?
He did for a year.
Yeah, I don't know. It's possible.
I mean, it would be nice. Look, either way, either Io or Schroeder coming off the bench, you're not going to lose. Right? Yeah. I mean, you definitely have some strength there with a secondary ball handler. But right now, the biggest problem is we just don't have a secondary ball handler.
I'd rather have someone like What about Sacramento? Do you think they would give up Bagley?
I think if they're going to give up anyone, it's going to be Harrison Barnes. That'll be the one guy they give up. So if they give up anyone. Because Harrison Barnes is an older player, more of a veteran player. He's not exactly someone you're going to build around or is like a building block. Where Bagley is much younger. And you can still, probably has a little more capital for a year or two.
Yeah, Harrison Barnes is 6'8". Rebounds, I don't know. He's averaging about 6 rebounds a game, which is not bad.
And look,
that's what I worry about Patrick Williams. I haven't seen enough of him to know like what he brings into the game. Instead of his D is good, and he every once in a while he shoots the ball. He's not someone who's going to go out and try and score very much, but he's got the potential.
And you know what? And if it wasn't Billy Donovan coaching this team, I probably would say he's too much of a wild card, right? Because we don't really know what we're getting. But with the way he's worked with the players we've got on this team, especially DeMar and Io, like remember at the beginning of the year, like, okay, we've seen the post over and over again. DeMar DeRozan, worst free agent signing, right? But Billy Donovan saw how we were going to use him and what he was going to bring to the table, and look what he's done, right? We drafted Io. He said right at the beginning of the season, look, Io's special. We were all like, look, he's a second rounder. Like, okay, let's wait and see what he does. And it just seems like every single game he gets better and better and better. I mean, he tried to dunk over Embiid today.
Yeah, it was close, man.
In the game.
And he did over Drummond.
Yeah, and the game on what was it, Friday night, where he dunked on the Pacers to seal the game. That's confidence. Like that's coach putting confidence in you to make that play, and then you going out and making it. Right? So he obviously sees something in Patrick Williams that is going to bring us something to the table. And Patrick Williams has been on the bench every single game. So he's been around the team. He's been working with, he sees the practices. He's been in the meetings. So you would think he's got some kind of clue or some kind of idea of what he needs to do or what he needs to work on to get himself playing time and to get himself back in the lineup as soon as he's ready. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, I agree. But did you also hear about the Jacob Podol thought of trying to get him?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Again, who do we give up? Who do we give up to get that?
Some of these guys say we get rid of Patrick Williams. I don't agree with that. I don't also agree with Jeremy Grant. I don't know why we would want Jeremy Grant either.
Yeah, I don't think we want Jeremy Grant only because he's a scorer. We have scorers already.
Yeah. So what do the two of us agree on? Like, what do you think we really need? Either we need our guys to get healthy and hopefully that they make a run pretty deep, and then over the summer we get a player that is going to fit that hole that we're looking for, or what position do you jump at right now? Power forward?
I think
or center backup, get rid of Tony Bradley.
I think it has to be like if anything, you're going to get someone with some size. That's the only way it can be at this point, right? I mean, you have guards.
I agree.
You have an overflow per se of guard. Like you got Io, you got AC, you got Kobe, you got Zach, right? You got DeMar. When you get Lonzo back, then you got Lonzo, right? So you're going to have, bringing in a shooter at this point, again, would be more of a insurance policy in case Lonzo doesn't come back. But again, that's the other thing we've talked about before, right? Are you making these trades because you really think you have a chance to win it or win the conference this year? Like, are you going to sacrifice giving up Kobe or Patrick Williams? Either one of those guys, right? Williams at least got another year or two with us, right? Kobe's got at least another year. Are you really going to give up those guys so that you can win this year?
No, I think that's short term, man.
Right? So then,
that's what we've always said.
We both agree they're ahead of schedule.
Yeah. Would you give up? How about would you give up? Let's say you're trying to get a big. You give up a Tony Bradley. You give up. I don't know who the heck's going to do this, honestly, but Tony Bradley, a Troy Brown Jr.,
a Simonovic,
a Matt Thomas, and a pick, and Simonovic. Yeah, that's not actually a bad idea.
Yeah. You know what?
I mean,
and those guys aren't going to play
garbage
anymore.
I know.
The only guy of those players you just named that has a chance of potentially playing in the playoffs would be Matt Thomas. In spot situations to where we need a shooter.
Yeah.
In spot situations, he might play a minute, two, maybe 3 minutes to spell somebody. If a guard gets hurt in the playoffs, can't play a particular game, Matt Thomas can fill in, right? If you had your choice between Tony Bradley, right, and Bell, or I mean, it's like Tyler Cook, who do you take? Who do you keep?
Oh, I guess I'd have to keep Tony Bradley for his height, honestly.
See, I keep Tyler Cook.
I like Tyler Cook, but they don't have enough height.
Yeah,
I don't even know Tyler Cook. I don't even know why he wasn't playing today. I didn't look at the health status.
It was probably where Tony Bradley was much stronger and be able to match up, against Andre Drummond. Where Tyler Cook is more the athletic backup, right? If you got a guy
Tyler Cook, I don't want to get rid of him either. But you give me those two options, I'd get rid of a whole bunch of other players besides Tyler Cook, though.
I mean, look, this is your bench right now: Malcolm Hill, Matt Thomas, Tony Bradley, Alfonso McKinney, Tyler Cook, Kobe White. Okay, Kobe White is still going to be around, right? So
terrible.
Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, out of those 5 players, right? 4 of them are going to be gone because you have 4 players coming back. So you got to keep.
Yeah, they're not. Yeah,
you got to keep one of those 5. Right? And the question is, who do you keep out of those 5? Is it a big?
Who is it?
I don't know. Is it a big? Because really, you're not getting any bigs back. Right? Out of all those players.
You need Tyler Cook in there.
it's either got to be Tyler Cook or Tony Bradley is one of those guys we're going to keep. Unfortunately, it's just going to be a numbers game, right? Where Malcolm Hill is probably not going to be on the playoff roster, if assuming all four guys come back, right? Alfonso McKinney probably isn't going to make the playoff roster.
Nope.
Matt Thomas, like I just said, there's a maybe there, and then it's just between Tony Bradley. It's really between.
I hope not, man.
Right? It's
yeah.
Again, you and I are both hopeful that they get all those players back. That's what we want.
Yeah. So maybe we should do another one of these where we pick some players that we think that we should bring to the Bulls.
Yeah, so maybe we'll do another one.
It might be clear soon though.
Yeah, maybe we'll do another one either before Thursday, either before the trade deadline or on the trade deadline. We'll obviously do a video if they pull a trade off, something along there. So let's get your comments down below. What do you guys think as far as potential trades? What is it that we need? Do we need a big? Do we need a guard? Out of these players that are now on the team, like who do we keep? Who's expendable? If you think,
because we're all over the place.
Yeah, and if you think there's a player out there that we should get, right? And don't get crazy, right? Like, we should go get Klay Thompson, or we should go get Zion Williamson, or whoever the case is, right? Like, realistically, let's think of players that we might be able to get. We'd love to hear them in the comments down below. And then like I said, we'll probably do a video sometime later this week on this. So thanks again for everyone for tuning in. Again, if you haven't had a chance yet, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the like button.
Dig it.
So that
Dig it.
we get that.
Dig it.
And then right now, somewhere on the screen, right about here is where you're going to see our logo. And right about here, you're going to see a link to our latest video. So check us out. Watch the channel. And again, last thing is follow us on Twitter. Windy City Dig on Twitter. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. See you, Vic.
See ya.
All right. Thanks, everyone.